Hey everybody, it's me, Jesse Vasquez, kicking off the first episode of Essential. This is, as just mentioned, the first episode. So there's gonna be some bugs worked out. We got a few of them that we know about, and I'm sure we'll figure out a couple new ones. But next time around, we'll do a little bit better. This series, my friend Ruben Reveles approached me to do it. He wanted me to be in conversation with people in the community during this pandemic. I think we needed an artist voice in the mix somehow because he didn't tap me to make any art. Um, so I took it as an opportunity to come at things from from a different perspective than what we're hearing these days, which is always about you know macroeconomic impacts and herds, right? They keep talking about herd immunity and all that kind of stuff. Well, this pandemic is also affecting us on a very individual level, and it's affecting everybody in a lot of similar ways, but in also very specific ways. So I'm going to be talking to people who are now considered essential workers. Prior to the pandemic, I think we all had an idea of essential workers being like firefighters, hospital workers, those kind of things. There's people who we encounter mostly in an emergency situation, something life or death, but who fix that emergency and they, keep us whole. But society actually starts to break down a lot earlier than that if certain things are not met. So when the pandemic hit and the shelter in place was imposed on everybody, we didn't have a way to get our food. People have limited mobility. They don't have a way to go to the grocery stores or wherever you have to go to get your food, and get back home in a safe manner. So the delivery services became more prominent. And those workers are now considered essential workers officially. I did a lot of reading into this, this whole thing, and the the governor put out a thing detailing all the people, all the classifications of essential workers. And it looks like this. So this is 13 items, categories of essential workers. And this entire thing is 30 or 23 pages long. So it gets pretty granular, as they say these days. So my friend that I'm interviewing today falls under this category. He's under item 6. I forget what that one is called. Let me see. Transportation and logistics. And he's going to be right here. Commercial vehicles, including bicycles. Nope, he's not a bicycle. Transportation services and delivery services, including network delivery companies, blah, 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 blah. But that's people that bring you food. When you call up DoorDash and all those kind of things, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of them. But there's a human being that goes and gets your food, pulls it off the shelf, puts it in their car, drives it over to your place, leaves it wherever you ask them to leave it. And they're putting themselves at risk every time they go out. If they're depending on this money, they're going to try to work a lot of jobs. They're going to pick up a lot of things. And when you're out on the road, maybe your car breaks down, maybe you get into a wreck, and you're going to encounter, people at that point. They may have masks on, they may not. You might have to go to the bathroom. There are no bathrooms right now. There are no public bathrooms. So that's going to take you off your schedule. And there's a lot of, there's kind of a cascade effect that happens. And what I'm trying to do with this series is frame things in that way that we start thinking more critically about what it means to be an essential worker and how we treat those workers just in a day-to-day manner, and what kind of efforts we put into, fighting for their rights and fighting for their protection. Right now, there's a lot of talk about how these people are deemed essential to the functioning of society, yet they're not getting any hazard pay for the most part. And if there was hazard pay, it's probably expired by now. Even though the pandemic is not expired, we're moving into what they call a third peak. I didn't really see anything go down, but it's a third peak somehow. And this thing is really it's impacted all of us in a very real way, but none more so than people who have to still interact with the public and put themselves at risk in that particular way all the time. So with that, I think I'm going to bring my man in. This is Trevis Washington, one of my oldest friends. And yeah, he's been working through this thing as a delivery driver, like I mentioned. So I'm just going to let him introduce himself and tell the people what you're up to.
Hi, I'm Trevis Washington, and some people say I'm an essential worker. I deliver food. I do that because I'm going to school, and I need the flexible hours.
Oh yeah. So how'd you vote on 22? You don't have to say if you don't want to.
I voted no. Even if it was in effect, I might not work enough hours to qualify for benefits. I only do, like on a good week, it'd be like 20 hours, but I didn't go this week at all, and that is the freedom of these kind of jobs is it's that you can make your own hours and that could be it's crucial for me.
Yeah. All right. So let me ask you a little more generally about, COVID, and do you know anybody who has contracted it?
Just a friend of a daughter, my daughter, he contracted it. I don't believe that we were in contact with him while he was contagious.
Hmm.
But he did self quarantine for like 3 weeks, and a lot of people that I don't know that have it, but just really that one person.
Gotcha. Cool. And what are you doing? What kind of measures are you taking to protect yourself and your family? Like, we got pods, and what's the other one? A bubble? We got pods
I
and
I, I like pods. I like
okay.
pods. You know
The
the
pod
pod.
is like that's your people in your house, right?
Exactly,
And then your
exactly.
bubble is like the next sphere out.
Yeah, we just we all live in the same household, and we try to have the same practices. That every time we go out, we wear a mask. Just if you leave the house, you at least have your mask with you. Get out of the car, put it on, and we have that trust in the protocol with each other, so that we know that the pod is intact.
Yeah.
as safe as we can be. You
Yeah.
know, we all got tested. Um, it's been a little while. It's probably time to retest again.
Yeah. Same here.
And then we plan when we meet with other pods because my immediate family is here, but there's family all over, and there's friends and things like that. So we kind of plan and we know when other people are going and things like that. We just try to do the best we can to keep some semblance of can't say security, but it's the best we can do.
Right. I know you had a situation where someone, your family, close family member, did not want to be tested, like was actively avoiding it. And I know people like that too, like that's out there. What's your insight onto that mentality?
My insight is that if you're part of a community, you're part of a community. It's not just you. And this is actually my sister. She's taking care of my mom. She's older. Um, and she started getting chills and some coughs and things like that. She was getting sick, and I did recommend it's like you got to get a test. A lot of pushback, and it took a little while, but she agreed to it. Which is my best hope for things like that because
Did you
um,
do it?
I believe she did. I haven't checked in with her. It's been, I'll text her. But she still might be a little, resistant about the conversation we had, which,
Yeah.
try to make it as human as possible. But she said she was going to get tested, and that was good enough for me. And it's just, we're linked together. That's my pod will go visit that pod,
Right.
and I care about everybody in that pod too. So it's
Yeah.
she was getting tested for my mom, she was getting tested for me, she was getting tested for my daughter.
Yeah.
And I just hope people can see it like that.
Right. Well, I kind of compared it to, if you think you're pregnant, what do? You just, I don't know, it'll work itself out. Like, we'll just we'll let it
If you
ride.
ignore it, it'll go away.
I'm just gonna let it ride for a while.
I I went through a lot of medical stuff, and I got to the point where, no matter how chilling the answer may be, I want to know the answer as soon as possible, because
Right.
the sooner I know what's going on, then I can make a decision.
You
You
can make
know,
a plan. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
honestly, I feel a little bit better when there's a plan in place.
Right.
So,
Yeah, because if you're not in, the extremely stressed groups, there's a pretty good chance of recovery from this thing. Like, might have complications down the road or whatever, but yeah, I think it's, in this instance, it's much better to know. Well, it's always better to know.
right,
Um,
right.
yeah.
It's just-
Yeah, it's fascinating. That one, that question never even occurred to me until when we were talking about it last time. I was like, oh, I don't want to know. Yeah, I know that.
right.
I know that one. Um, so you accidentally became a frontline worker when this thing landed.
I think I started, yeah, just a couple of weeks before the first lockdown. I mean, because it's just, yeah, I mean, it was just something new and different, and it was just, I was already anxious about just doing the job in general, and then COVID hit, and it's like, no, it's like, yeah, face guards. Do we wear gloves? I don't know. But
Did
you just,
you wear gloves?
I think for a day,
Yeah,
there was one day that I wore gloves, and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense.
my
Um,
hands sweat off of my body.
yeah, I just have the hand sanitizer and just keep it moving. Try not to touch too many things.
Yeah, well, I guess we know now that it's more airborne is the bigger threat than touching stuff.
Right. I volunteered for a food bank right about that same time,
Uh,
but at that time, like, they really felt like touch was huge. So like the whole time they were there, we'd always wear gloves. Like the whole time we worked, we'd be packing the food, we're bringing the food in, gloves, gloves, gloves. You know, and
yeah,
again, and washing your hands. But
yeah. This has been a fascinating real time experiment, man, and societal interactions.
definitely.
Yeah. So are you? Who do you interact with during the course of doing your job? Like, how many people would you come in contact with?
So at least one. There has to be one per delivery, because you got to go someplace, you got to pick up the food, or that's when I feel essential, is like when I go to a Walgreens or a drugstore and picking up specific things for people. I feel like, oh, they really, you got to get this hand sanitizer mix. I mean, they really need somebody to come out with them. But
You picking
the
up like prescriptions for people? Is that in your?
I could, I
Okay.
could, but it just hasn't come up. Usually, it's just some kind of whatever you get at drugstores. I don't want to tell people's business, but you know, just just things that are important to them that you couldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah. So you're
But
saying the one person that you come in contact with would be the cashier?
guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I gotta pay for it. I gotta physically get it.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the customer would have the option of having it delivered on their door, or actually putting it, you know, in their hands. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's because they can be contactless too. They're like, hey, leave it by the garage. I'm like, that's fine.
Right.
Take,
Right.
take a picture of it. So, but guaranteed one interaction.
Okay. Yeah. So has this kind of opened up any insight into you about society in general, like how we to me there's been, it showed a lot of cracks for sure. The whole handling of this pandemic, and then who got thrown out there to continue working. Did you see that show Chernobyl?
No, no, I
Uh,
did.
watch that.
I think we watched like a couple minutes of it, but I not enough to say I watched it.
It is heavy. It's not light watching. But I feel like we got kind of a low key, drawn out Chernobyl happening.
It's,
you
it,
know,
it
we,
is,
the numbers don't pile up quickly, but they pile up.
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how people react to the little bit of information that we have. That some people literally push against it, and some people embrace it.
Yeah.
It's just interesting, and I do see that like um, sometimes in a good way that sometimes people are like, oh, there's somebody I didn't put on my mask, and some of it is trying to be part of society. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I want to be the good guy in this situation, or just even if it's for appearances, I'm like, that's great. Whatever reason you could put on a mask would be delightful.
Yeah.
But I do see the social aspects of all of this.
Yeah. So I went back to work in July because I work in a lab, in UC Davis in the art department. And you have to, like, I can't, it's a lab. You have to be there and checking equipment out. It has to happen in person, all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So there was nobody really around for the first 2 months, I think. And then, students got back and, start having to interact with more people. Man, I can't even tell you like what um, you always say like an institution is not the buildings and not the stuff. It's always the people. But
Yeah.
you don't really have a grip on that until you're just there with all the buildings and all the stuff and no people.
Wow.
Yeah,
Creepy, huh?
it was creepy. It got, yeah. I mean, I don't mind for a couple of weeks. It's kind of nice, to have some peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Got a lot of cleaning done, a lot of arranging done, but then I'm like, damn, I can't even just go up and just talk to somebody, see how their kid's doing or whatever. And
Right.
a couple weeks ago, one of my coworkers came back. She had to give me a key, and I told her, that she works with someone else too in the office. And I told both of them, I was like, I did not appreciate you guys enough when you were here. Even though we see each other like once a month. I'm like, yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, this is very, very, very illuminating epidemic. There's always something to learn from every experience, and yeah, I'm glad to be here with you. So yeah, because I know. So are you leaving your house socially less? Because I know we planned on kicking it a while ago, and then the last time we tried, you were just like, no, let's just do the Zoom thing.
I I'm not social at all right now. That this is a part of my social calendar, to be honest
Yeah,
with you. My daughter is expecting a baby and
right.
adding, yeah,
Yeah,
mazel,
well,
blessing, and and it's like, and I literally feel that that's one more person in the pod that's that much more responsible we need to be. So I'm kind of protective or a little isolationist, but yeah, I do miss human contact.
yeah,
Even my classes are online,
I know. Yeah, man, it's weird.
and I will go out of my way to go to the synchronous class where it's live, the live lectures, so I can pipe up and talk to classmates a little bit, because I'm not really getting that UC experience. Uh,
Yeah, yep. I am a hands-on, in-person learner. There's a lot, I can get from reading and whatever, but there's a point where I just need a person there, like telling me what to do, pointing at the thing, and like I
Yeah.
have questions. I need them answered immediately. I don't need to go down some internet rabbit hole and get distracted 400 times trying to find the answer. There's a lot of interesting stuff. You can Google one thing and find out 500 things that,
I
yeah,
I miss all of those interactions. I miss
yeah,
interactions with classmates. Just to conversate about what we're doing, or why we're doing it, or whatever. You know what I mean? Just all those extra inputs that you would normally get.
yeah.
Uh, I'm absolutely missing.
Yep. Well, I have not checked any political polls or results or anything today. I'm going to assume the world will still exist tomorrow because nothing's on fire right now. So what's keeping you pushing? What's keeping you pushing? We're going to get through this. We are going to live through all these kind of things. And what's your motivation right now?
Besides trying to be a grandfather, school,
Yeah.
school has filled my time. It's given me a purpose. It's given me some place to be at a certain time. It's given me some reward in just completing things.
Yeah.
Um, because half the pandemic I wasn't in school, and I did struggle to continue to find purpose and what are we doing here and all those things. But yeah, you got to keep your hands busy. You
Yeah.
have to move forward, as best you can in whatever formation it takes. You
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah. I finally figured out how to get on some good algorithms on YouTube.
oh, really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they know the song that you want to be played next.
Not the song, but like the category. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
pretty
I'll
cool.
share, I got some playlists. I'll share it with you after this. Yeah.
Yeah, the strange thing, because I'm thinking about delivering is that I could be out there like 6 hours, but the total time like spent with people would be like 7 minutes,
Yeah.
8 minutes. I mean, I stood in line for 15 minutes, but I only had human contact for about 30 seconds of that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. I've even noticed there's a weird thing happening with, just like stranger interactions with strangers. People don't even make eye contact, especially if you don't have a mask on, or if one of you doesn't have a mask on. It's like,
yeah,
if I look away, you can't breathe my air or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still working on the second one. I'm still
Yeah.
working on that because there is I still want to give a head nod and say what's up, how you doing,
Yeah.
but on the other hand I kind of got to keep it moving because you're not wearing a mask.
Yeah.
uh, I I have consciously tried to meet people's eyes now. When
Yeah.
my spirit can allow that. When I have to at least be on the upside of a mood.
Yeah.
Because I do sometimes it is like treasury, like trying to get in, try to get out. And every so often, I can catch somebody's eyes. I think I did that in Winco the other day, and somebody literally went Wakanda. I'm like, yes, and it made my day, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's worthwhile. It's worthwhile to try to catch people's eyes
Yeah.
because other people actually do want to talk and they do want to socialize, but here we are. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to look for it though.
Yeah, it's true. You do got to keep looking for it. And I think that's important too. Like, we need to refine our idea of what it means to be a society and a cohesive, body of people that, function together. Like we
Right.
function together.
Yeah.
And, we're really like everything's being tested right now. Like our physical resources, our mental resources, our emotional resources, all that
Yeah.
shit is stressed out. And we really I hope we're, large at scale. I hope that we're all kind of like reassessing that, what it means and how much we value it, because we all do, whether we admit it or not. Like we see it now. It's
I,
just I hope we admit it.
I'm not sure if it's just the commercials on TV, but I feel like people are outwardly looking for things to do, to create, to try to expand upon themselves,
Yeah.
and I hope that's just not just a vibe that I'm getting. That it's, I mean, a lot of people I know have turned to, like, they turn back to their art, or they're reading, or going back to school, or something. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So just reassessing what's important to us. Get to spend a lot of time with your family. And definitely an upside.
Yeah. So we're right at about time. So I think I'm going to put on our outro music. Who I want to thank, a friend of mine. He was a student at UC Davis. He graduated last uh, spring. Kind of got the short end on that because they didn't have any of their senior shows, anything like that.
Yeah,
Dude, he's super down guy, and he's in this collective. So I'm gonna put their information up on here as well, and they're making music. And this is a bunch of stuff he sent to me earlier in the pandemic. We were just like chatting back and forth, and
yeah.
me, like music is everything. Like if I don't have a good soundtrack for it, it ain't happening. Like we gotta
Right.
get that straight. So yeah, we're gonna go out with him, and thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Um,
Thank you for having me.
yeah, man, we'll be in touch soon. Let me find my graphic. Wait, I lost everything. Oh yeah, we're working out the kinks here. We're working it out. Oh wait, there we go. All right, dude. I will talk to you soon. Thank
All
you
right.
much. All right, I'll see you soon.
Take care, man. Thank you. Peace.